Hey guys, DiabloManDan here. In this video, part 4 of the 0 to 2 million WoW Gold Challenge, we are exploring the wide world of gathering professions, more specifically herbalism and mining. This part took a while to get through. It actually took me longer than I had expected to get caught up with all the artisans' acuity. The good news is we made a little bit of gold along the way, so let's dive in. Here's some auctions we had put up at the end of part 3. We did easily sell all the Mage Royal I was worried about. That added in about 3,500 gold to our total, which brings us to 54,538 gold. Now, before we dive into specific farming routes, I have updated Mayu's Knowledge Point Tracker, which can track your KP catch-up points along with your weeklies, treasures, and even where to buy KP at. It's extremely helpful, and I recommend you pick this up if you haven't. You will also need WeakAuras add-on for it. Next was the time to run around and get all the weekly quests and get all the treasures for that sweet knowledge power. The herbalism and mining treasures were pretty close to each other in the different zones, so it didn't take too long to get them all. For the mining profession tree, I went mining fundamentals first in order to be able to mine while mounted. I did unlock the other 2 nodes in this tree, but didn't feel the need to spend any points into them. For herbalism, I went for bountiful harvests first. This was due to having the sky golem mount that allows me to gather while mounted. If you are not a druid and you don't have a sky golem mount, then you may want to go botany first, as staying mounted really speeds up the whole gathering process a ton. Going for the myco bloom first was a good choice, since it is the most common herb you will find. I did spend some gold on the green profession gear for both mining and herbalism to help get it going. For the tools stats, I went for finesse on the herbalism tool and perception for the mining tool. The tools and profession gear ended up taking us down to 38,500 gold. That was a pretty big hit, but let's get to grinding this out. Right here is where I ended up doing 99% of all the farming. It was spread out over a week, and I would do 1-hour sessions here and there to see what the gold per hour was like. Tried to avoid peak hours when doing this, but even off peak hours, there were people farming here a lot. Before being able to get the catch-up items, I had to get through the weekly drops first. Slab of slate for mining and deep growth petal for herbalism. The first few runs were terrible in terms of gold per hour, but that was expected since we still need to get our skill to 100 and get a ton of knowledge power. Here we are posting auctions for our first round of gathering. Results for this look extremely bad, and that is due to one major reason. I didn't use File of True Sight to see camouflage nodes. I did a few rounds before realizing that. My bad. I wish I could say that was the end of the mistakes I made, but I overlooked another huge thing, as you can see here. I forgot to get the Weaver's buff, which increases gathering speed by 15 to 30% depending on your rank with the Weaver. Rank 5 gives you 15% and rank 7 gives you that sweet 30%. Also, with maxing out mining fundamentals, our next gathering run should be much better. Here we are at the end of the next farming run. This is a lot smoother, and I'm making some progress on getting the catch-up KP. Let's check in on the sold auctions and post up some more stuff. I think we ended up selling everything that we listed earlier. The first round wasn't so bad, I guess. We ended up with 7,890 gold from those sales, which brings us to a total of 45,746 gold. Here we are the next day after getting the second run stuff posted on the auction house. Let's see how we did in terms of sales. Nice! Big jump with that second run, 15,125 gold. On a side note, let's take a second and look how beautiful this is. This is why I like farming in Hallowfall. Run 3 is in the books. Much better ore return than the first 2 runs, I think. I'll spend the knowledge points and then we will list this to the auction house. Looks like we sold almost everything for a gold return of 13,555 gold. That brings us to 75,441 gold. Run 4 wasn't too eventful except for this. Be careful with those easy mine nodes. End of run 4, looks like we only have 97 catch-up points left in Herbalism and 104 in mining. Let's get the stuff on the auction house and see what sells. Gold results from run 4 are 13,098 gold, which brings us to 89,504 gold. I started run 5 by trying out gathering in the Isle of Dorn, but after about 15 minutes, I decided to go back to the Hallow Fall spot. I just wasn't really feeling Isle of Dorn. I know some people swear by it, but I wasn't feeling it. And also, embarrassingly enough, run 5 is also when I started using Vial of True Sight. Anyway, let's get this stuff on the auction house. Run 5 sales total up to be 13,239 gold, and that brings us to a milestone for the challenge, 102,739 gold. Here's a quick look at the profession trees so far. For Herbalism, I'm getting points into maxing Myco Bloom and dumping the rest into Spear Scavenger. For mining, I'm dumping the points into Plethora of Ore, but now looking at it, I should have focused on maxing out Bismuth first to get the Nullstone drops, since they are such a big part of the potential gold you can make. Here's the haul from run 6, starting to get a lot more rank 3 herbs. We also only have 63 more catch-up points for Herbalism and 75 to go for mining. Let's get it all posted and start run 7. Here's the haul from run 7. We only have 49 more catch-up points for Herbalism and 58 for mining. Also remember that each run is an hour long, so we are 7 hours into it and we still have ways to go. Here are the auction sales for run 6. This one confused me a bit since it was only 9,376 gold. There were a few more auctions that hadn't sold yet, so I had to cancel and relist those. Here's the sales for run 7, including the few things that didn't sell from run 6. This was a good one with 19,985 gold and brings our total gold to 131,896. Just like that, run 8 loot. We are getting close to getting caught up for Herbalism with 27 points to go and 44 to go for mining. Let's see how much gold this haul made us. Quick update on the profession trees. As you can see for Herbalism, I'm still on the same course. I have each of the outdoor herbs maxed at 40 points each, and I'm working on Lure Drop right now. I'm getting that to 20, and then I'm going to focus on getting Orbinid to 20, then maxing both of them out. As for mining, I'm just working on maxing out Bismuth. Run 8 left a lot to be desired with only 11,294 gold, and that brings our total to 143,058 gold. It's also important to note that when doing all of these runs, the price of ore and null stones have been falling, just about like all the other stuff on the auction house. Here's the haul for run 9. As you can see, I finally maxed out the Bismuth tree and got my first couple of null stones. Herbalism is getting ever closer to being caught up with mining close behind. I also have 1,525 Artisan's Acuity that we will use later on. From here, I'm going to do another run without putting this stuff up on the auction house first. I ended up cutting run 10 down to a 30-minute run, so here's the haul for an hour and a half with both runs 9 and 10 combined. Runs 9 and 10 combined were better as we gained 20,010 gold, which brings our total to 163,308 gold. For run 11, I only farmed for about 45 minutes and didn't strictly stay in the same area. So here's the haul we had for it. You can also see that we only need 1 more catch-up point for Herbalism and 8 left for mining. Run 11 contributed 12,228 gold, and brings us to a total amount of 176,641 gold. The next run wasn't a long one as I really wanted to get the remainder of the catch-up points and then call it. Here's the haul for the last run I did. For some reason, I don't have the footage of that haul's total gold, but currently Monopoly Man is at 189,974 gold. So that last haul was also around 13,000 gold. Our gold total really shot up doing this, but I wasn't really happy with the numbers. If I spent the time and gold in order to max this out, it might make a difference and hit maybe 25 to 30,000 per hour. The great part is we ended up with 1,850 Artisan's Acuity, and that will help power us up as we switch professions. I have one idea to help get us to 1,000,000 gold and beyond, but that will have to wait until next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to be notified when that new video is released.